Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome inside The Lock Shop. Husky and Huss with you here. I'm coming at you from a very red room here at the Park MGM. Huss, what's going on, buddy? How you doing? Maddie, can you turn me up a little bit too? How you doing, Huss?
I'm doing well. Okay, how are you? But first of all, where you guys have been relocated today? What is this red room you're at now?
This is a Wonix. This is a Wonix hotel room, and the boys just did hang out here. And it's just like there's a window behind us, but it's got this shade that comes all the way down. And it's going up right now. Watch this. Watch this. Look at this. Fancy. It's just too bright behind us right now. So we kept it down. But yeah, that's what do we got behind us here? Where are we? Oh, that's Aria. It's like right there. You can't see obviously with the sunshine, but all right, lower the blinds. I'll come back down again. Yes, we're having a lot of fun. There's a conference where we were doing the show this morning. So we kind of went back and forth, and I was like, you know what, we'll do the morning show in that area, and then we'll bring the rest of the shows up here. But yeah, it worked really well. Sounds great here. You know, these Vegas rooms are kind of soundproofish a little bit, so I don't think we're bothering anybody. And yeah, it's been good.
How was the experience last night at the game?
I mean, Vegas is, it's awesome. Like the presentation is just awesome. You watch it and you just go, man. Hey, nothing again. Like the Oilers try, like they try to put together a nice little pregame, and it's tidy, but it's not Vegas. Like McAfee was there, standing next to one of his guys was spinning the wheel.
Yeah,
McAfee's there. Bubba Watson was there spinning it in like the second intermission or whatever. So the stars were out in Vegas, but the atmosphere is great. Vegas, that team feeds off that crowd. And I know you can say, oh, yeah, a lot of teams likely feed off the home crowd, but there's a different vibe there with Vegas. I mean, when that crowd gets going, the Golden Knights get going, and it was good. I mean, there must have been, Maddie, how many Oilers fans do you think were there last night? A couple thousand? I'd probably say like 3. Yeah, probably 3,000 to 4,000 fans there last night for the Oilers. So it was a good time. It was a good time, buddy. Good read by you on the Knights winning that one.
Yeah, well, listen,
Rest of our NHL cards sucked, but that was a good read.
Yeah, it was just one of those spots that that Vegas had been looking at this game, and they had played well going into the break despite all of their injuries. And listen, this run that the Oilers have been on is historic. Listen, they were one game away from tying the all-time record. Everything had gone their way. Sooner or later, a couple bounces will go the other way. You might not get that fortunate goal or a save from the other guy when you need it, and Vegas ended up getting it done. I think what that does show is that team is still, they're kind of like the Chiefs. Like, they're still the team until somebody takes them out, and they've sort of been getting by right now without a number of their top players. But when you put Eichel back in that lineup and put Theodore back in that lineup, and I guess Carlson was back, but there's a number of top players that they've been missing come playoff time. That's a team that knows how to win. They know what it takes to win those 4 series. And they're going to be a really tough out, which goes back to the importance of keeping the foot on the gas and trying to win that division. Certainly Vancouver's in that spot right now, and they'll look to continue to do that. And a big win for the Canucks last night, speaking of the Pacific. So I'll tell you what, if the Oilers and Vegas play in the first round of the playoffs, which is entirely possible right now, probably the most likely version, there's going to be a hell of a hockey team that's sent packing after 7 games.
Yeah, it's after the win last night in regulation, Vegas now has a 7-point cushion on the Oil, but Edmonton has, I think, 5 games in hand. So it's going to be a tight race down the stretch, and whoever has home ice, I think, in a possible game 7, that's going to be huge. In that, now the Oilers did, like, they out grade A chanced them like 17-9. Aiden Hill was great last night. Like, he was excellent. We were talking about with Jamie McLennan this morning, or maybe it was Greg Wyshynski. Anyway, one of the guys, I said, like, do we need to just stop being surprised that Aiden Hill's still good? Like, and just admit that Aiden Hill's a really good goalie. He was awesome last year in the playoffs. His start this year, if you go look at his numbers, have been just terrific.
Best in the league.
Yeah, and he was outstanding last night, man. He was great. He was probably the reason the Golden Knights won that hockey game. I didn't think he straight up stole it by any stretch of the imagination, but he was the best player on the ice last night. And thinking of that goaltending again, it's going to be an insanely tough out. But that is a very, very, very likely first round matchup, and that'll just be a hell of a series. How about Winnipeg last night? How did my boy Jesse Puljujarvi look for the Pittsburgh Penguins? I saw he was +1.
Yeah, he let's just say he didn't stand out last night amongst the game. That was a tough one for the Jets. They gave up one in the first period. Weren't playing particularly well in the second. And then have you seen this Brendan Dillon hit on Achari?
I have not yet.
So Achari gets absolutely railroaded by Brendan Dillon. And Dillon's not a dirty guy. And in a lot of ways, there is an element of you got to keep your head up and look where you're going. I mean, he kind of went head first, like right into Dillon's shoulder. But listen, the onus is on the guys that are making the hits not to make contact in the head. It was unfortunate. It certainly wasn't intentional. But man, when the guy's helmet flies 2 feet in the air and then he's KO'd, you're getting a call from player safety. They called it a match penalty after a review. And the Jets went on a PK for 5 minutes, had 3 good minutes, and then a couple tough breaks and a couple tap-ins for Pittsburgh. And at that point, it was done. Jets did actually really push in the third period. But this is just a point of the year where they're having a real tough time scoring a goal. And they got shut out last night. They're on the practice ice today, and they'll look to see what happens tomorrow in Philly. And I guess we'll hear about Brendan Dillon. Which might mean Logan Stanley actually gets to play a game, who's been in the press box seemingly forever. But we'll wait for news on that coming up a little later on. Hey, just one more Vegas related question. I saw you guys went to Shake Shack yesterday.
Oh, buddy.
It's so good. And I mean, having been stayed at the Park Theater, I mean, it's so nice and close. What else have you consumed? I mean, I know there's been a few beers, but what have you eaten right now? Like, what has been what have you been putting into yourself?
Since we last met, we hit Shake Shack. I got the cheese and bacon fries, double bacon cheeseburger, delicious.
Oh God!
Last night, Eric had a big thing of popcorn at the game. We all ate that. 3 of us were eating that popcorn. We still only got halfway through it. It was a massive popcorn. I did have some chicken tenders at the game. Which weren't bad. We had access to the Bud Light Lounge, which was awesome. So you could it wasn't that busy up there. So we hop up there. And then last night around 11:30, I grabbed a slice of pizza from over at New York. So yeah. But it's on par. I mean, I'm basically checking the boxes.
Yeah.
We'll see how the rest of today plays out, but probably more of the same, I guess.
No doubt. And you guys did Topgolf yesterday?
We went over there. We didn't actually golf, but we were there for 2.5 hours because Maddie's got he had the labrum surgery or whatever, right? So he can't swing.
Of course.
Now. Eric doesn't golf, so it would have just been me kind of playing by myself. But we just grabbed a table, set up shop right behind all the golfers, and yeah, we probably were there for like 2.5 hours watching.
Had a couple beers, got ready for the game.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and then a bunch of Oilers fans there, so we chatted with them. Then we went over to Beer Haus. Just right next to the rink, and it was packed with Oilers fans. It was awesome.
Oh yeah,
it was great. That's a
take
great
over there before every game. Like if you're ever going to follow your team, you get down to the rink a little early. Often they'll be doing something in that plaza. There's lots of stuff there, but that Beer Haus, which is right kind of in the corridor, they have the drum line rolling through. It inevitably ends up as a big meeting spot for all the visiting team fans that are going there. So the Oil, when are they back? When are they back in action? Tomorrow?
They had an extra day here, so they flew out to Palm Springs last night. They're gonna go golf, and then they get Anaheim. That on Friday? Anaheim's on Friday, and then right away against the Kings, back to back on Saturday. And for Edmonton Sports Talk, folks, we'll be at the Boston Pizza Westgate, right by West Edmonton Mall, for a little watch party for the Kings game on Saturday, which should be a lot of fun.
Nice. What time is that? Is that an 8 p.m. game for you guys?
That'll be an 8 p.m. That's the late game, I think. So we'll have a pregame show at like 6:30 with Tommy at BP's, which should be a lot of fun. Then we've got our huge Super Bowl party, which is going to be great. And we're doing all our shows from the casino the next day. So this has been an all-time run right here, Huss. And I'll be ready to kind of settle back into a routine next Tuesday.
Well, I'm just thinking about I'm just thinking about your watch party on Saturday night at BP heading into the Super Bowl fiesta at the casino. I mean, you are in a lot of ways, you guys are revving it up in Vegas, and you'll be coming back and just coming in hot, basically, to two big events for EST on the weekend. I hope the Nasties are ready.
Yeah, well, yeah, they better be. I mean, we're going to be grinding it out pretty good here. So, yeah, no, it should be a good time. I will say this as far as our picks go today, and Pat Gregoire, I believe, is going to pop by. Farhan Lalji may pop by as well. He's here covering the Super Bowl. Obviously, a lot of CFL news right now. We can get to that as we work our way through the lock shop today. He may pop by at some point here, so you and I, Huss, can chat with Farhan if he does find the time to stop by today. How about right after the Brady Oliveira news, we wrap up lock shop and the Dalton Schoen stuff breaks, and then the Elks get Javon Leake as well. Great returner. Yeah, it was a wild 24 hours in the Canadian Football League, buddy.
Listen, we started off Winnipeg Sports Talk with the news of the Brady Oliveira signing. And then we finished WST off with the news of the Dalton Schoen signing. It was, I mean, I got to give Kyle Walters so much credit. And in some ways, this is sort of his Chevy moment. If you recall, Thanksgiving Day, two very important pending unrestricted free agents of the Winnipeg Jets signed on the same day
Yes.
to the same amount of money. And that's exactly what Oliveira and Dalton Schoen ended up doing yesterday, both taking salaries for this season at $230,000. Brady's number is $240 for next year. And apparently, Dusty, Brady turned down $275 on a 3-year deal from BC.
Over $700,000 on a 3-year deal from the BC Lions. And he said, no, thanks. I'll stay with the Bombers, which is, I mean, the Lions to go out and try to pull that off and offer the money to get it done. Really. I mean, that probably is not going to get any more anywhere else. It would have been the best offer financially for the Lions to do. That would have been a huge shift because they already have a great receiving core. You throw Brady Oliveira in there with VA. I mean, this is a masterclass by the Bombers to keep these two guys around.
You know, it's obvious this is some of the fruits of the success that they've had, as well as how they are, how they've been treating their players, which is first class. And guys know, they can probably get more money elsewhere, but they want to stay here. They want to be with this team. They want to give themselves another chance to win a 5th straight Western Championship and try and get that win in the Grey Cup that's eluded them the last couple trips to the big game. And to have both of those guys back is a massive. I mean, listen, they're losing DeMario Houston. Hardrick's gone. It's not like there wasn't going to be some significant losses, but Zach Collaros has got to be pretty darn happy, as is Buck Pierce. I mean, bringing back all his major offensive weapons and adding Chris Streveler to the mix.
Nothing on Jeffcoat, right?
No, I haven't heard anything on Jackson
anywhere, right? Yeah, nobody's so it's
well. And the thing with Jackson, like, I don't know if this is a great time for him to be looking to break the bank, just because he hasn't been particularly healthy the last couple of years, and that's gonna definitely be an element of buyer beware. I love Jeffcoat. I mean, I hope he's back here. He's been such a great member of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But if you look back, and maybe the Bombers had the luxury of keeping him out a little longer because of where they were in the standings, knowing bottom line is we need this guy for the playoffs. But he did miss some time. And I think that is, I mean, listen, the best ability is availability in professional football. And, if you do have growing numbers of missed games, it makes it a little bit tougher on the free agent market. But the guy can play. I'd still love him here in Winnipeg, but we'll see what happens as we get a little closer to next week.
All right. So you can text the same time, 780-218-9999. The Lock Shop coming at you, at least on my half, live from Park MGM in Vegas. Nasty Chat's already going as well. We'll get into a few of those. Pat Gregoire is going to join us. Zacticum back at EST. If you could throw us on a 3-shot, we're bringing P. Gregoire here and dive into the golf. Patty, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
Patty.
Doing good, boys. It's one of the best weeks in sports. Obviously, the big game this Sunday, but we got the Phoenix Open. We've got Live Vegas. I was thinking, man, like, what an absolute sports weekend you could plan if you went like Thursday, travel. Just it's not too far. Let's be honest. TPC not too far away from Vegas. You go up to Arizona, watch that on the Thursday, then go to Live Vegas on Friday, and then Saturday maybe do a college basketball day at the swim up bar with all the TVs. The names escaping me there, but you could do that there, and then on Sunday you go watch the big game. Pretty good weekend. You'd have to be really doing well sports betting because it'd probably be an insanely expensive weekend, but no doubt that would be a bucket list couple of days down in Vegas.
Hey, Dusty, speaking of the swim up bar, have you guys been to Circa yet?
We haven't got over there yet. Possibly on the radar this afternoon. We'll have to see how we want to pace ourselves throughout the day.
That's it. Circa Swim. Yeah, that's a sports better's dream. That looks like an unreal spot. Speaking of live though, fellas, Joakim Niemann, like big cash for me. I feel bad because I didn't mention it on the lock shop, but I did go. I'm 1 for 1 in my last one live bets. I might have to be a full blown live guy. You guys talked about it. Really lucky for live golf, the fact that there was the delay and then just a flat out cancellation of the last round. But the fact that it was up on YouTube, easy access, you could see just about every single shot, no commercials. Like, I don't think the stock for live has been ever higher. To be quite honest, I don't know if it will get any higher. I'm a little bit disappointed that this waste management tournament is not a designated event. The board is not as juicy as what we normally see here, but we still see a lot of big names. It's still an awesome event. It should be on everyone's golf bucket list. But let's just say Lib's a little bit hot right now. We'll see what kind of weekend the Phoenix Open supplies to us and see if they can get a little bit of that momentum back.
I'm interested to see how many people are going to be out in Vegas. Like yes, you're around. There's a lot going on, but do you just completely get lost? Something that wasn't really top of the sports page, if you will, to begin with. I mean, like Feinberg was on with me yesterday. He made a great point. Like if Liv isn't bringing Rom, Cam Smith, Phil, and those guys, and just bringing them through Radio Row and just doing massive amounts of media over these couple days leading into the tournament, they are completely missing out. I know Dusty mentioned that Bubba was at the game last night. Yeah, I'm sure some of the golfers will be in and around, but I mean, hey, we've talked about it. I mean, Liv has incredible golf. Pat, you just talked about it. The actual viewing experience compared to the amount of commercials on current PGA broadcasts is night and day. And if they can actually get some people out to their events and get a little bit more atmosphere, they certainly have the athletes right now. My question for you, as I look at the live boards, with John Rahm as the 4-1 favorite, followed by Hatton and Neiman at 11-1, when are we going to be able to bet on the team competition? Like, I want to ride. Like, I need a range goats future. I need some action. And of course, the new team, Legion 13, led by John Rahm. They got a 19-year-old on their team, by the way.
Yeah, it's wild. That's a great question. That's something that I'm sure I could bring up with our golf odds makers for sure. The fact, though, and again, I'm sure it's probably available at other books. I haven't actually taken a look to see. Last week when I was making my bets, I didn't see it elsewhere, but our offering for live golf is quite extensive compared to what we just had last year with the outright winners. You can bet on outright winner, top 5, top 10. We've even got some group bets. We've got some head-to-head bets. So, I mean, we'd be crazy not to try to dive into this, because I do feel like a lot of people are starting to warm up a little bit to live. We'll see what happens with, the talks with PIF and obviously the new deal with PGA investments or whatever they're calling that endeavor. possibly could change, but I mean, I'm certainly paying more attention to Liv. I'm still going to be a PGA guy through and through. Kali Samuja, I don't know if you guys have ever heard that name. He is a Cool Bet branded athlete. He actually won a tournament this fall. He's from Finland, so he's one of our ambassadors in Finland. He won a tournament to get into Liv, so he's going to be on the tour. I think our guys from Finland might be coming over for one of the events in North America. If they're going, heck, twist my arm. I might have to go. I might have to check things out. So I'm not full on pledging my allegiance to Liv, but the fact that I've won a bet from them, the fact that I can watch it on YouTube, I can watch without commercials, the fact that we've got some cool bet skin in the game, I'm having a hard time not pulling a Hulk Hogan here and switching sides to the dark side and going Team Liv.
At least one half of the lock shop would be more than happy to join you guys for that Liv excursion. And I think we might be able to work on, he's been doing a lot of traveling lately, but we could squeeze another one out before football season at some point for the big guy as well.
As long as I can get some rest somewhere along the way, I think.
Come on.
I think that'll be a key for me. All right, let's get into the waste management here, boys. By the way, Patty, you know what's weird is for my first day and a half down here, I could access Coolbet, and I could see the odds, and I could place wagers. But today, it all just shut down for me. So, does that make sense, or does something else happen? Do you think for me?
You got.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to take this conversation offline. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay. All right. Okay, because it was good. I got in on a couple of things. Now I can't see the odds, I guess, is what I'm saying. I can't see the odds for this. You guys are gonna have to run me through the top 10 or 15.
Sure.
We can certainly do it. Just Patty, do you have a Liv pick? Are you gonna go back to back? I mean, do you got any sprinkles on this Liv Vegas event?
Well, to be honest, normally like whenever Brooks is on the board, I'm gonna for sure bet him. But this week in Vegas, I feel like his head's gonna be somewhere else. I think he's gonna be I don't know if he is the play. Taylor Gooch, man, like getting him to 18-1 last year, like if you include all golfers, Liv, PGA, like he was one of the most decorated guys in terms of wins. You look at just what he was able to do. I know he kind of fell flat in some of the majors that he actually was able to play in. But for me, I like Gooch. I don't know if I go back to back with Neiman. Rahm at plus 400 just doesn't make any sense. Hatton had a pretty good week last week in his debut. So I haven't made any official plays, but let's just say off the top, we'll go Hatton 11-1 and Gooch 18-1. Those are my two Liv picks. The hottest Liv golf better on the planet.
I'm going a little further down, but not too far down. I am going to take a touch on Gooch. And I'm also going to jump on Bryson. Like Bryson's the one, he won't be at all these Super Bowl parties and stuff like that. The other guys are going to be, Bryson will be, doing physics projects or something in the hotel room. So
in the lab, yeah.
We don't have to worry about, but anyways, yeah. So Dusty, here we are for the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Scotty Scheffler, no surprise. And Pat, you can speak to the return of maybe making a few putts for Scotty Scheffler, which is bad news for everybody else. He is the runaway favorite at plus 450. JT is at 11-1. Max Homa 16-1. Spieth 18-1. Sam Burns is 20. My guy Benny On, Wyndham Clark, JPT Poston, and Sung J M 28-1. A group of 33-1, including Matty Fitz, Minwoo Lee, and Saki Thakala. 40-1s, Hideki, Tom Kim, Cam Young. And then we get into the 50s, which include the Canadians, Connors, Hadwin, Bo Hostler, Si Woo is at 50, and then Adam Scott as well. And a couple other guys that actually they probably are worth mentioning. 66, Ash K. Batia. He's actually been good so far this season. I might take a sprinkle on him. Ricky Fowler, Brian Harmon, Shane Lowry, Noren. And then you're down into the 80s with your guy, Danny McCarthy, EVR, Grillo, Kitayama, and Detry. So there's a bit of a rundown of the board. But I mean, Pat, Scotty Scheffler, a plus 450. I mean, it's such a short number, very difficult to bet, but he has been great in this tournament before. And, without the Rorys and a few other guys in the field, a clear favorite, and about as big of a favorite as we'll see on tour all year long.
Yeah, I mean, even when Scotty was on that run last year, or Rahm, when they just simply couldn't miss, we wouldn't even see that. And you're right. The fact that we don't have some of the other bigger names in this event makes it no surprise. But Scotty's also won this event back to back. He's going to win back to back here. We've seen back to back winners, who is one of my picks. We'll get to that in a little bit, but there really is no surprise that Scotty is this short. We talked about, his putting is back. And if his putting is back, last year, if he was a tour average putter, the analytics said that he would have expected to win like 3 or 4 more tournaments. Just had to be an average putter. So if he gets his putter going, maybe that's going to be the season of Scotty Scheffler. But with that being said, plus 450 is just still, when you go with a golf event, there's so many variants. I can't stomach a plus 450. I'm also not going to laugh at you if you take plus 450. But with that being said, if he has a little bit of a slow start, round 1 or maybe even round 2, if he's sniffing around the board, you're probably going to get better odds. You're probably still not going to get great odds. But I would say if you're going to take a bet on Scotty, maybe wait until after day 1 or day 2, because your odds will increase a little more. But there definitely are some interesting odds. I don't know if you want me to dive into my picks already here.
Yeah, who do you like?
I like JT, but 10-1 for a guy that obviously has been so hot to start the year. I don't know if I can stomach a 10-1 bet with Justin Thomas. So that's probably a stay away. Maybe I think, to look to him for a top 10 at plus 150, or maybe you put him in a parlay for my Greg's golf special. But in terms of, so that's a not play, but I would also advise maybe if someone wants to sprinkle, I'm not going to go against them. Your guy, Huss, Minwoo Lee. I know this is his first time playing TPC Scottsdale, but he feels like this guy is built for not just this event, but this tournament, this golf course. He absolutely smacks the heck out of the ball. He's one of the longest driving players on tour. He's really good at par 5s, a lot of par 5s here, a lot of scoreable par 5s. And the fact that, he is a showman, like the guy likes, he likes to play up the crowd. I think he is a guy that is going to love playing in front of these crowds. He's going to love to play at the loudest hole in golf. So I like Minwoo, certainly at his number as well. Hideki Matsuyama, 40-1, I believe. I think I like him to finish inside the top 20 as well. He's won here. He won back-to-back back in 16 and 17. A little bit of an inconsistent start of the year. He's made every single cut so far, but he's only finished inside of the top 20 once. But his
numbers coming down. I've bet him a couple times just because the numbers have been so good, and he's been showing signs and has had some great rounds. Just hasn't quite put it together for 4. But you mentioned, with where he's at, the number we're getting him, the course history with what he's done, that was the first guy I jumped on when I looked at the board. It was Hideki.
So, and I don't understand it. Like, when would you ever get a player of his caliber that is a multi-winner at 40-1? Like, I don't get it. There's something that is missing here. Maybe I'm eating the cheese here. Maybe it's low-hanging fruit, but I'm going to take Matsuyama here. The other bet that I like as well. And again, I mentioned I like his top 20. I also I like Minwoo. I think what's his number?
33.
33. So I like that number. And for him to finish top 20, it's plus 140. I really like that there. And then kind of went out of order here, so I apologize, fellas. But Sahith Theegala, 33-1. I know everyone knows I'm a big Sahith guy. He's, last year kind of tailed off a bit, but he's had a pretty strong start to the year. I think he was within the top 10 when they ended up calling it last week. Inside the top 20. So he was top 10, I think, after day 2, though. So I think he would have had an opportunity to have a little bit of a better finish. But if you guys have ever seen the Netflix show, the PGA Tour, that first season, it took place 2 years ago. Sahith was like so close to winning this event.
Totally. That was his breakout. That was his total breakout performance.
Yeah, and then that ball just trickles into the water on 17. They thought it was a beautiful shot, couldn't see the ball. They thought it was on the green. They walk up and it's in the water. His dad, who was maybe the MVP of that series, was just great. Absolutely heartbroken. So, and again, at the price here, 33, it looked like this actually moved. I think it was 38 to start the week, and it's down. So that scares me. That obviously means a lot of people are jumping on him. And again, maybe I'm pulling at the heartstrings here, remembering what he was able to do, but his game fits this perfectly. So those are my 3 best bets. I have a lean on JT. I just wish it was like 12. If it's 12, I'm jumping on it. Maybe I'm just looking into this too much, and it's the old JT from last year. But at 11-1, I don't know. It seems a bit deep for me. So I'm going to stay away, maybe closer to tomorrow or tonight at some point. Maybe I'll end up sprinkling it, but those are my best bets, fellas.
Huss, go ahead, buddy.
All right. Well, as I mentioned, I mean, the first place I went to was Hideki. I mean, knowing that he's played well at this tournament and this golf course before, former champion. And we've talked earlier this year about how something's not adding up with the numbers right now on Hideki, but he has been playing well, and I think definitely is a guy that's won here before, major champion. We can go down the list. 40-1 was where I started. Now, I mean, could Scotty go make it a three-peat? Absolutely. My plus 450 tells you all you need to know. But as usual, I'm going to fire in that next tier. And Hideki, as I say, at 40-1, I think is great value. I do have a sprinkle on Min-Woo Lee. You sort of laid him out already at 33-1. But the other guy I like the number in this field is our old pal Sungjae Im, 28-1. Sungjae is a guy, and you kind of laid out what you need to be here. You definitely need to be, a long ball hitter, which he certainly can rip it off the tee. And he's just a guy that when he gets dialed in, the birdies can come early and often. And I think we've seen that Sungjae so far this season has been, has he been at his complete peak? No, but I think there's signs that, and when he's on his game, he's one of the guys that can go toe-to-toe with a Homa, a Thomas. So hoping we see some of the best of Sungjae this week at 28-1. So kind of focusing in on that group, Sungjae 28, Min-Woo, I put a little extra sprinkle on that when you mentioned him. Hideki was where I started. And I mentioned Ash Bhatia. He is a young guy, and he wears a 28-inch waist.
What?
He's the skinniest guy, man.
My son is 8 years old. He's probably not far off of a 28-inch man.
No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Ash K. He's the definition of lean, if you will.
Oh yeah.
I think he has to get everything custom made because he is that lean, but he can golf, and he is becoming a lot more comfortable on leaderboards, a lot more comfortable playing with these top players. And he's a bit of a showman too. Like, I think this event and this atmosphere is going to bring out the best in him. So it's 66-1. I got a little time for a dart on Ash K as sort of a longer shot, but starting it off, Sungjae Im, Hideki Matsuyama, and we'll throw in a little Min-Woo as well.
I think I have to sprinkle on. Actually, I was just looking quickly, Huss. He's ranked 31 in the FedEx standings, and I know it's very early, but that just goes to show that he's sniffing around. Like you said, he had a great fall season as well. So I really like that. And on Sungjae, I think I have too many plays now, but I really like that. he in his last 4 appearances here, he's been inside the top 10 2 times. He has 3 top 20 finishes. He's made the cut in all 4. And last year he finished T6. So he's got the course history behind here. And similar to what I said about Matsuyama, like when Im is on, usually it's like he's on for not just one tournament, like he'll catch fire and be one of the best golfers for the next 4 or 5 weeks. So if he can start heating up here, we might see him go on a run, although he tends to make his runs on the Florida swing. I don't know what it is about Florida and Sungjae, but he absolutely loves that swing.
We've got a lot of good chat going on over on YouTube in the Nasty Chat. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999 as well. Sungjae M was one of my 3 best bets here as well. So when Huss brought him up, I thought that was great. Patty, you just laid out some of the numbers that I was going to get to. And he's at 28-1, right?
Yeah.
Sungjae at 28-1 right now, the 2 top 10s. T5 at the Century earlier this year as well. So I do like Sungjae at that number. I understand what you're saying about JT, Patty, but I am gonna throw JT in here into my top 3. He's been T17 or better 6 straight trips to this event. He's playing extremely well. What was it, Saturday? The putter kind of let him down. But outside of that, I mean, he's just absolutely terrific. So I am going to get on Justin Thomas at 11-1. And then I don't know if either of you guys really brought him up, but where you're at on Sam Burns? 3 events this year, 2 of them in the top 10. Us, I think you said the number was 20-1 for him here. Basically collapsed at the Amex, or else he might have been able to get the job done there. So I don't know. I like Sam Burns at 20-1 here as well.
Sam, I mean, listen, I could ride with that. You can only jump on so many players.
Yeah.
So you missed it. I kind of went down to, I was weighing him at 20, Sungjae at 28, like that number a little bit better. But yeah, like, I think at this point in the season, if you've seen guys that have been right there, I mean, the French dude, Pavin, is the perfect example of that. We sort of like realized, this guy's playing pretty well. And he's been there week after week after week, including getting into the winner's circles. So, I mean, recent form, I think, is certainly something you want to lean on a little bit when you're looking at a field like this and trying to find someone not named Scotty Scheffler to bet on.
Well, talking about Burns, I mean, I'm a big Burns guy. Again, I just have too much out there that whereas it's almost like if I add 2-3 more outrights, I'm not even going to be able to come out of the red. But I do know he has some pretty good results this year, like you mentioned. And when you talk about I think he was T6 last. He was somewhere in the mix.
It was T6 last year, and he finished with a 64 and a 68.
Yeah, he to me, he seems like a guy that will have fun here. I don't recall seeing any clips, but like just go back to the Ryder Cup, man. Like he was playing awful. He makes one good putt, and immediately he is up and shushing the crowd, and he is a guy that I think will thrive in this environment. And I don't know, maybe we take this into consideration too much about guys that can fit in that environment. In terms of your JT bet, again, I'm going to kick myself because I think he's going to win this tournament, and I'm going to be a dummy and not bet the number. But I totally agree. I don't know how you don't go. I probably am going to end up betting JT at some point before, just because, again, it feels like he's finally, going in the right direction. So I think we've got our picks in here, fellas. What do we do for the special?
And then just a quick little sprinkling on Denny McCarthy, because I'm going to keep doing that when you get him at these numbers.
So, of course.
Danny,
was he 80-1, Huss, or something like that?
Yeah, 80.
Yeah, so Denny McCarthy on the list as well.
Yeah, that's the FOMO bet. You can't have Danny McCarthy go and run with you if you haven't been doing it. So as far as if we're going to put something together for this event, do we want to focus on? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say 2 of us are on Minwoo.
Well, we like Sungjae.
2 of us are on Sungjae, and I like it. It's just I have too many other options going right now. So I would say maybe those 2 guys in top 20.
Top 20.
To go. Yep. And then do we want to throw another top 20 or maybe
Well,
look
the
a
other
little
guy,
bit?
what about Hideki?
Oh,
We
yeah.
both got
Yeah.
we both got Hideki.
Hideki too.
Yeah, you guys were both on Hideki, right?
Yeah.
So
It's kinda-
if we went Minwoo, Hideki, and Sungjae all to top 20.
I think that will be a pretty good number.
I'm just looking at it right now. I got the golf specials on
Yeah,
here.
what do we got for 20s for these guys?
Looking here, Sungjae is plus 130. Minwoo is plus 140. And Matsuyama, which this is my best bet, not outrights or anything. Matsuyama, top 20 is plus 185. Just the value doesn't make any sense. Plus 185. So
so let's crank those out and do a three-way top 20 for a little lock shop partner parlay for the event.
I like that. That's a simple one. That's good. Okay, well that's what we'll do there. Go ahead, Patty.
I was just gonna say, Huss, you'll like this. So a buddy of mine, Dalton Finkbeiner, writes for Score Golf, and in his article this week, he throws out his picks every week. But because it's Super Bowl, he is throwing out some Super Bowl and waste management parlays. I'm not too sure if we're able to parlay this, but he has the Scotty Scheffler to win and Patrick Mahomes to be the Super Bowl MVP, and he's calling it the 3-time champ parlay.
I love it.
I'll see if we can do that. Maybe I'll even be able to see if we can get a boosted number on that. He says it should come out to about 13-1, which is insane, but that just goes to show you with how low the odds are for Scotty to win this. But I think we got to put together the 3-time champ parlay. Do we not?
Hey, listen, I will bet that. I don't have exposure to Scotty, but if we want to tie it to Mahomes, I'm here for it. Now, and is it Mahomes to be MVP or Chiefs to win money line?
MVP, Mahomes to win the MVP.
I am here for it. Throw that, get a number for that, and throw that in our little lock shop specials. And I can guarantee you that I will be getting I will be putting a little dart on that one. Hey, one thing that I should, while we're talking golf today, gang, if you get over to CoolBet and click on the golf specials, you can still get in, and I'm presumably you'll be able to bet these up until the Masters. But they've got some very interesting bets on guys to win a major. And just looking at that, like Brooks plus 485, Cam Smith plus 485, your guy Ludwig Aberg plus 550. Everyone's waiting for Ludwig to be there. Cantlay and Schauffele. So those are always fun. You sort of get exposure for all 4 of the majors and, follow your favorite player. But there's some pretty interesting props on players' performance in all 4 majors. And when these first got listed earlier, I jumped on a few of them just because they were fun. I think I'd won a bet. I had a little extra in and put a few darts. But, obviously guys like Rory's at the top. I'll just give you an example what these numbers are. 33-1 to top 5 all majors. Top 10 all majors is 9-1. And he and Scheffler have those same numbers. John Rahm's 10-1 and 40-1 for top 5. Next up is Vic Hovland, Brooks, Cam Smith, Xander. But the minute you get past Aberg, and those guys are all Brooks, Cam, Xander, Pat, Cantlay, Aberg are all 200-1 for top 5s, 40-1 for top 10s. But then you get into this next tier of players that have won, have contended, that, it's 250-1 for guys like DJ. But I'm looking at Tony Finau. I'm looking at Justin Thomas. I'm looking at Colin Morikawa. The 250-1 on top 5 might be tough, but 125-1 on top 10 in all majors. I think that some of those guys are going to be in the mix, and you want to throw 10 or 15 down on a couple of those. I mean, you could be getting down to the final majors, not needing guys to win, but almost needing just to be in the mix to get a number far beyond what you'd get for winning any of these tournaments individually.
You always find fun things, don't you?
It's
I
great.
love it. I absolutely love it.
I've fired a few. So yeah, check out the golf specials if you haven't already. There's some juicy ones in there. And then, as I say, if you want to bet guys to win a major, they've got basically a number for just about everybody on the PGA Tour and the live players that are eligible for the majors.
I think P. Gregorie froze. That's okay, because Huss, you got Winnipeg Sports Talk coming up. I'll take us home with some of the nasty chat here as well. Pat, don't worry, Pat. We're good. We're gonna get rolling.
Yeah, well, Pat, we'll get Pat back on Friday to get to our the rest of our Super Bowl picks, and I know Jake's going to jump on tomorrow. We'll get his thoughts on the big game and start getting into our favorite props for it. And as far as WST coming up, well, we got to get to a game last night where the Jets go from here. Lots of talk about the Brendan Dillon hit. Our guy Teddy Buckets is back with the Winnipeg Sea Bears. He's going to jump on the program. And I know a lot of people in this space will know Chris Meany, who works with FTN Bets, one of my favorite guys to talk to. Meany's going to jump on as well, and we'll get his thoughts on the Super Bowl and maybe see if he's jumping on anybody on the golf. But it should be good. Busty, have a great night tonight. I'll look forward to keeping track of all of you throughout your social media postings and your hijinks. Say hi to the fellas. Hey, by the way, has Eric been misgendered at all anymore since the airport?
No, just at the airport. Miss, can you come with me?
Yeah. Tough scene.
It's been great so far, buddy. We will catch up with you tomorrow and continue to dive into the Super Bowl. As we've been told, Thursday, Friday, things are really going to pick up here. Super Bowl wise, like it's still. Like,
yeah.
I haven't seen a Chiefs or a Niners jersey all week.
Really?
Yeah, it's wild to me. Like, we didn't get down to the fan area yet, but we've been MGM, New York, Aria for a little bit. We were down at the Venetian to go to the Sphere, and I haven't seen one yet. But people said, Thursday, Friday is when a lot of fans will start to roll in, right? Get pumped up for the weekend. So should get cranked up there. So we'll continue to get into that tomorrow. You have a good Winnipeg Sports Talk today, buddy. And we'll check in tomorrow.
You too. Good luck on the tables.
Yeah. You know what? Haven't hit a table yet. Have not hit the tables just yet. We'll see what happens today with a little bit of free time this afternoon. Let's dive into the nasty chat. We didn't have it was a golf episode, but there's lots of good picks in here. I got a little bit of time. We do have Oil Stream coming up here with myself and Tommy Gazzola. Let's dive into a few of these. Let's see here, man. We got a lot. I like Rod Z. Rod Z likes Justin Thomas. I like that one for sure. Let's see. Duck Dad. Tampa Bay, New York Rangers shot parlay at plus 250. Kucherov over 2.5. Stamkos, Laffy, Kreider over 1.5. Fox and Cirelli under 3.5. Too many legs for not enough squeeze. That's quite a bit. What are you throwing in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly 6 guys. That's a lot. Let's see here. I know we got a few more. Oh, Scotty Barnes. This is good. Mark is on Scotty Barnes tonight. Scotty Barnes. Last time he played Charlotte, went 22, 17, and 7. Not a bad night. 22, 17, and 7. Smashed the over on the Scotty Barnes props tonight. So we've got that going for you. Rod Z is officially in on Wyndham Clark at 28-1 and Justin Thomas. Calling John Rahm at the Live. If anyone wants some value on the AHL tonight, gotta love that. Only inside the lock shop. Hartford plus 110 in regulation against Bridgeport. Hartford is 11. This is a good one. I'm gonna get on this Hartford play here. Hartford plus 110 in regulation at home against Bridgeport. Hartford is 11-6-3 at home. Bridgeport has just 4 wins in 21 games on the road. So that's nice. Rod Z has Heiskanen over 2.5 shots. Mark's wondering if I'm going to see David Guetta. No, that's not happening. And Big Uke just bringing this to my attention. I'm gonna have to hop on social media and see this. 15 minutes ago, there was a guy climbing the sphere. Didn't have that on the Vegas/EST bingo card. Yeah, we did. We did not. I did not have somebody climbing the sphere. Now, was this like, was he rogue? Was it Eric? I mean, Eric's been gone for about enough time to get down to the sphere. Or was this like some sort of Super Bowl week stunt and it was properly orchestrated? I feel like that might be it, because how does a rando just get to climb up the side of the sphere? That seems a little strange, doesn't it? 2 days left of the lock shop prior to Super Bowl. Tomorrow will be in Vegas. Friday we'll be back at EST Global headquarters. And yeah, we're hoping to get a real good feel of Super Bowl week starting to pump up here a little bit, because it's been kind of quiet so far this week. All right, that's going to do it for the lock shop today. Thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate it. Good luck tonight, and we will talk to you tomorrow on the lock shop.